guys, welcome. Happy Monday and welcome to this live with me where we will be talking about reasons to follow your mom instinct and why it's so important on this road to learn to follow that instinct. It will pay off greatly for your mental health, your physical health even, and most importantly in your mother-child relationship. And let me know as we start jumping in and starting this conversation where you are joining me from. And for example, I'm here in Miami, as some of you may know, and I just want to connect with you and learn where you are joining me from. And as we start, I also want to remind you, if you already do not know and haven't been aware, the Mindful Mom Method, I just finished, right? My latest group, we just finished last week, and we are starting a new group July 13th. Mindful Mom Method is my 6-week group coaching program where you would get 6 group calls with me in a very small container. And of course, the platform that Mindful Mom Method gives you that has all of the tools and strategies that have worked for the past decade with my private clients in learning to be a calmer human being, a more conscious mom, having all of the strategies to stay calm, know how to redirect your children, know how to connect with them, know how to have agreements, aka rules that work for everyone, and most importantly, why we are here today, know how to follow that mom instinct and not fall in the trap of the should and coulds and what I need to be doing according to my family or society. And I see here that we have moms from Miami, Coconut Creek. Thank you, Carla, for joining me. And thank you, Nancy, for joining me. And of course, give me your questions, leave me your questions as well. So let's get started. Tell me in the comments, yes or no, have you ever felt doubt or mom guilt around a decision that you have made? And it can be a simple decision. And these are things that have happened to me. Like, am I messing up my child? Or was I wrong for letting him, sleep an hour more yesterday during their nap? Or did I make the right choice putting them in that karate class? Did I make the right choice picking that preschool for them? Am I doing the right thing in homeschooling? Because I know I have a lot of homeschoolers here, and that is becoming a more popular trend and way to teach our kids. So that's something for sure that I know is growing. Carla, let me know, what's an example that comes to mind? What's an example that comes to mind when you have doubted yourself and have been unable to connect with that gut feeling, that mom instinct, that regardless of what was happening around you, that you could feel sure that you had made the right decision? And by the way, this is something that I always tell my clients. We can sit for weeks and hours trying to pinpoint what the perfect decision will be that will lead to the specific results that we want. And that is not guaranteed. That will never be guaranteed. All we can do is learn to listen to our instincts and what we are trying to accomplish and set out a plan and try to develop and go ahead with that plan as best as possible. And that includes in parenting, all of it. But we will never know if the results are going to be the ones that we wanted. Why? Because other human beings are involved in this equation. And if you haven't learned so already, your child is a human being outside of you with their own desires, even from infancy. And because we will never know if extending that nap for a full hour, 30 minutes, is the right or the wrong thing. That's the thing. We have to leave behind the right and the wrong. We have to understand what we are trying to accomplish, not only short term, but longer term. What is the decision that will help you sleep at night, that will help you say, it doesn't matter what the result was, I know that in that specific moment, I did what I thought was best for me, for my child, for my family. And I can see that more of you are joining. So let me know where you're joining from. And let me see over here. Nancy's saying, yes, not often do I have mom guilt, but when I do, it's hard. It is hard because then we don't know how to let go of it. We don't know how to move forward instead of being stuck in what happened in the past. And how is that mom guilt, even if it doesn't happen often, and that self-doubt affect your current day-to-day, your emotional and physical well-being, and most importantly, your relationship with your child? Because I know, as someone who experiences anxiety, not every day, but I can say that sometimes I have peaks, let's say once a year, twice a year, when my anxiety goes up. I know that that does not allow me to be fully present in my day-to-day. And those thoughts and those emotions take up so much space and sometimes time that I forget where I am in the moment. I don't know if that resonates with you, if you also experience anxiety, but let me tell you a true story. This is me, right? For example, this is something that happened to me, I want to say, and this has a lot to do with following your mom instinct. And I know nowadays, I know to this day that decision was the best one for my child. I think it was in October of last year. My daughter started kinder. And I don't know if you're from Florida, then you know that we have public schools, private schools, charter schools, and also if you're from the US, and depending on the zip code that you live, then you have to go to a specific school if you want to receive, free schooling for your child. And we were always debating as to what was the best school to send our kids. We knew that we didn't want to go the private route because private schools here, especially private Jewish schools here, are insanely expensive. But more so, personally, and this is not describing anybody out here, just personally as a family, my husband and I, we were very much about the values that we wanted to instill in our children, and none of the private schools that we had out there aligned with the lifestyle and the values that we wanted our children to be exposed to. Okay, so with that being said, we had originally put her in a charter school where she got accepted, and we were waiting to see if she got in another school, but we had completely forgotten about it. 6 weeks into the school system, she was accepted into that other school where we always thought, since she was born and even before having children, that we would send our kids. She got in. And so I had followed my mom instinct, and I had told my husband and all the people around me who kept telling me that I had to change her, that that was the smart decision, that how could I pass on this decision? It was like all of the noise, and I was very adamant. I'm like, I'm not changing her. This doesn't make sense. She's happy where she's at. I've asked her where she wants to go, and I know she's only 6 years old, but I value her opinion, and this is where she wants to go. This is where she's happy. The school has the values that we want her to have. She has an amazing teacher. I don't understand why there's not even one good reason to change her. So why would we do that to her? Why would we do that to us? So it was 5 days or 7 days of all of this noise and all of this chaos and all of the opinions. And even after we had made our choice, people telling me how I had been wrong for having made that choice. Well, guess what? They're not me. They don't live in this household. So how could they know if I had been wrong? How could they know? Let me know if this is resonating with you, because there's absolutely no way that anybody living inside your home, outside your home, knows what's best for you, what works for your lifestyle, what is aligned with your values, what is aligned with your short-term goals, with your long-term goals. And short-term goals could be something such as, it doesn't work for my work schedule, it doesn't work for my kids' after-school schedule, it doesn't work for our mental sanity, it doesn't work for us, period. So how could anybody else know? There was no way. And to this day, I know that I made the right choice. Even though to the outside people, it may have not looked like it. And always knowing that I can change my opinion. Yes, granted, after you lose that spot, it's really difficult to get it back, but I can always change an opinion. You're not set. Nothing is set in stone. Rarely anything is set in stone that you cannot change. Should you realize 6 months down the line, 7 months down the line, 6 hours down the line that you changed your mind? Okay, I want to read over here something that Carla was saying. I had a lot of mom guilt when I stopped producing enough milk. Yes, that happened to me when I had my firstborn and had to start my baby on formula. I felt like it was my fault because I wasn't pumping enough. Right, and we can come up with a million reasons. Like, for example, in my scenario, I left my because it wasn't a choice at that moment, right? I only got 3 months of maternity leave. So yes, I had to pump and I had to leave, but I still wanted to, do only breastfeeding, right? Like breast milk. So I had to go through a similar experience, and I even worked with a consultant, but it doesn't matter. Like the point is that unless we understand, the only reason or the only way to be sure and learn to listen to your mom instinct is to create the spaces to understand your values, to understand what you want to pass down to your children, to understand the home environment that you're trying to create. To learn how to weed out the noise. For example, do you need to unfollow people that don't serve you? If you're feeling guilty about having to give formula to your kids, do you need to unfollow all of those accounts that tell you that the feeding consultants, the breast milk consultants that make you feel even more guilty for giving formula to your children? How can you set healthy boundaries around your home system so that all of that noise that will continue to exist doesn't come in and affect your relationships with your children, and most importantly, your mental and emotional well-being? Because you are, alongside your partner, hopefully, the pillars of your home. Or even if you have a co-parent, you are that pillar. And we have here from Empowered Eaters, I was just going to say, we have to make time sometimes to listen to our gut. And that's the thing, as millennial moms in 2023, we prioritize everything and everyone but ourselves. I cannot tell you how many moms I get on a weekly basis or monthly basis letting me know, I want to do mindful mom method, or I want to work privately with you, but I don't have the time. I have so much going on in my life right now that I cannot come to a 1-hour meeting once a week for 6 weeks. That sounds like a lot. I can't carve out the time that it takes, and that time can be 30 minutes, by the way. If you don't have 30 minutes for yourself in a day, how are you supposed to learn to listen to your instinct, to quiet down the inevitable mom guilt and doubt that will come up? How can we quiet that down? How can we take some time to say, this is the best decision for my child? Or to have the conversation that I had, that was a very logical conversation that I had for about 2 days, where we even wrote down on paper the pros and the cons of changing her school or leaving her where she was. If you don't have the time and carve out the time for you and to have these intentional conversations, to set out a plan, to understand and list out your values, your short-term goals, what are you trying to accomplish as a mom here? When I work one-on-one with a family, as I know some of you here have worked one-on-one with me, we sit down and we spend at least 2 sessions in understanding, especially the first session in understanding, what is it that you're trying to accomplish? Because we can sit for hours and hours complaining as to what is not working, but the only way to change that is if we understand where the loopholes are. And I know many of you who follow me here claim and are trying to be cycle breakers, conscious mom, empowered moms, but that doesn't only stay and that doesn't become true. And I'm sorry if this sounds very direct, but to the point, by only following Instagram or TikTok accounts or YouTube accounts that talk about breaking cycles and being a conscious mom. This is actually about you doing the work and carving out the time. You are worth that time. Your children are worth that time. Because as the leader and the cycle breaker, and maybe the reason that you're telling yourself these stories that you don't have time to listen to your mom instinct, that you're too busy with the day-to-day of surviving the day-to-day, is because you're scared of what could potentially be different. You're scared about what you're going to find. You're scared maybe to be a little bit vulnerable. Guess what? All of the moms who have come and done Mindful Mom Method or worked with me privately have been so thankful to find a space where they can cry and we're gonna support each other, where they can say how guilty they feel for deciding or even thinking about putting their child in daycare when they had promised themselves that they would be a stay-at-home mom for 5 years, for the first 5 years until they go to kinder, and they no longer resonate with that. And that's a true story, right? Let me know if you have any questions, if this is resonating with you. But these are the best tips that I can give you. If you want to learn to quiet down that mom guilt, to listen to your instinct, to be sure about the decisions that you're making as a mom, you need to carve out the time to listen to yourself, to define your values, to define the goals, the rules, the boundaries, the limits, the schedules that do work for you. For example, all the time I'm getting messages from friends like, you need to put your kid in this, let's put our kids together in ballet, let's put our kids together in gymnastics. Does that serve me or my daughter? Do I have to follow the crowd or do what I think is best for me and my family? I want to help you not get sucked into the shoulds and the coulds, and if anything, give you the tools, the skills, and most importantly, the space, the community, so you feel sure of every decision that you make. And I know I have some moms here that have worked with me privately and have also been part of Mindful Mom Method. Thank you for trusting me. And I'm going to leave some space right now to make sure that I've given you all of the information that I wanted to give you today, and to allow you to ask questions, comments. Let me know if any of this is resonating, or if there's anything that you want to ask me during this time. This is what I love about lives, that we get to interact beyond a post. We get to actually connect. Oh, something really important when it comes to listening to your mom instinct, and this is something that I have been working on and teach you to work on inside Mindful Mom Method and our private sessions, should you choose any or the other, because some people love the group aspect of Mindful Mom Method, and some women still choose to work privately with me, and that is perfectly fine. Again, there's no right or wrong answer. It's what feels aligned to you and what you're trying to accomplish, okay? And what you feel comfortable with. But it's just so important to know your physical signs of what your emotions are trying to tell you, whether it be anger, disappointment, anxiety. If you want to learn to listen to your mom instinct, you need to understand what your body is telling you. Just last Friday, I had this conversation with another woman, and that we were thinking if we were going to partner up and collaborate and do something together, and just something in my stomach was telling me it just doesn't feel right. When I'm having this conversation with this other human being, it's nothing that she's doing, but it's just, it doesn't feel right. I feel uncomfortable when I'm having this conversation. So if I feel uncomfortable, my body is trying to tell me something. I don't know exactly what it's trying to tell me, but I have to listen to that, and I had to take a few days to understand what my body was trying to tell me. Do you know like that feeling in your stomach, or like when you're talking to someone that it just feels, something feels off, something feels wrong, like you're not connecting. But maybe you ignore it and you let it pass. And then you kind of like, it's not that you feel guilty, but you feel guilty and disappointed is not the word, but you feel like you should have listened to what your body was telling you. Let me see over here. We're getting a comment. The hardest thing for me is letting go of the mom guilt and want to do 57 things at the same time. Right. Like sometimes it's 9 p.m. Everyone is asleep. Everything is set. And I feel guilty for being in bed. I can be in bed. I can relax. That's another thing. You need not only learn to listen to what your body, the physical signs are trying to tell you, which is something that we work on inside Mindful Mom Method. We carve a whole week to understand the physical signs and the thoughts, the limiting thoughts that are coming up for you that are making you feel like you have to be doing 57 things all the time, every day in order to be productive and a good mom, a perfect mom, a valuable mom. I want to help you break all of that so you really understand what it is that you're trying to do here as a mom. Get out of survival. And so one of the things also over here, this is the guide, the journaling guide that comes with the class. And so, for example, this is a lesson inside module 4 where we, for 20 minutes, all you have to do is sit down and watch a video that lasts like 10 to 20 minutes the most. All of them last between 20 and 20 minutes the most. And after you watch that lesson where I'm giving you all of the tools, all of the tips, you then go and you journal. And as some moms have called it, the journaling is worth gold. This is where the aha moments happen. This is what will stay with you forever. So we need to work on defining your values, for example. That's one lesson. Another lesson over here is how do we, let me look for it over here. How do certain emotions feel inside your body? So you learn to listen to your mom instincts. But this is how you need to carve out the time or you will never get out of survival mode. I have moms that come and work with me because they want to be calmer moms. Guess what? You need to do the work. And I know it seems like, oh, I don't want to put another thing on my plate. This is the intentional thing. This is the life raft. This is like for 6 weeks, if you do the intentional work, everything will start falling in place. You will no longer feel like you have to be doing 57 things at the same time to be valuable, to be worthy, to be a good mom. Okay? And the last 2 things I want to say, sometimes and most times, oftentimes, talking it out, having that, the reason that I do a small group and a very intentional small group is that 1, you feel safe to be vulnerable, you feel heard, you have time to participate and have proximity to me as your mentor, as your coach for those 6 weeks to actually give you results and to be able to talk it out. Another powerful thing besides the guide is having each other to put things in perspective, to listen to another mom that is going through I can't tell you how we're talking in a meeting and all the moms are nodding like, yeah, that just happened to me yesterday. Yeah, that just happened to me last week. And to not have to feel alone. So surrounding yourself with like-minded women in a place where you do not have to feel judged. You do not have to feel criticized. You do not have to compare yourself to the other mom next to you who is doing all of the after school activities and seems to like she has it all together. I can assure you she doesn't have it all together. Okay? So let me know if you have any questions for me. Hopefully the tips and the conversation today is a change in the right direction. There is no right or wrong way to do things as a mom. There is only the way that works for you. And the only way to learn what works for you is to carve out the time to understand what your short-term and your long-term goals are and to learn to listen to what your body is trying to tell you. Okay? So I want to remind you that Mindful Mom Method starts July 13th. It is a group coaching program with me. You have 6 weeks of group calls. Yes, you can and have the option inside the sign up page to upgrade to add 6 private sessions with me that you have up to 3 months to use. So that can be 6 back-to-back weeks, just like the calls, the group calls, or that can be 2 private sessions with me of 1 hour, where you have even more proximity and more intentional time with me as your parent mentor and as your licensed therapist, to figure out maybe why you're feeling so guilty, or why you're feeling so triggered, why you're feeling so emotional, why you're feeling so irritable, or to carve out the time to set out a new routine that will work for you and your family, to figure out why your child is having meltdown after meltdown, for example. Okay, so if you're just joining here towards the end, I want to remind you that all of behavior is communication. Even your self-doubt is trying to tell you something. Even your kids' meltdowns are trying to tell you something. So anyways, to keep it up to here, I want to let you, if you're just joining, for sure, you can, I'm going to upload this. You can listen to this as many times as you want. And I hope to see you inside Mindful Mom Method. You can DM me, or the sign up link is the only one thing you will see in my bio. It will take you straight to the page where it describes everything that you will get with Mindful Mom Method. It's worth over $3,000. It's worth over that, and you're gonna get it for a fourth of the price. So for $497, if you want to pay in full, or you have up to 3 payments as low as $179, you get 3 months inside the portal. So let's say you're done with the 6 weeks of sessions, but you want to rewatch the videos and you want to rewatch the 3 bonuses with your partner or co-parent. Absolutely. The bonuses, the 3 bonuses that are there, are meant to be watched, hopefully with your partner. The 3 bonuses are Same Page Parenting. All of these classes come with a guide, all of them, even the bonuses. More Peace at Home, that teaches you all of the basics of how to apply in your home conscious and positive discipline, and how to raise secure and resilient kiddos. It's all, the 3rd one is, and most of them, all of them, are science-based, evidence-based, to understand really what it takes to raise a secure child, a confident child. So those are the 3 bonuses that come as a gift. Okay, remember, you also get 6 group calls with me. They only happen once a week. Okay? And I didn't want to forget one of the best parts, of course, the journaling guide that comes with it. Okay? And so it doesn't feel like you're being bombarded with all of the information, because I don't want to overwhelm you. That's the last thing I want to do. If anything, I want this space, Mindful Mom Method, to feel like and be your life raft out of surviving motherhood, and actually feeling like you're doing the right thing finally. It's only 5 modules. Only 5. The reason I added a 6th call is because I want to give you extra time with me. So every week, starting July 13th, you will get access to 1 module. You don't get access to the next one until the following Friday, okay? So that it doesn't feel overwhelming, and so that we all start and finish together. Okay? If you fall behind, you still have 3 months inside the portal. You can download your guide, and you get lifetime access to our Telegram group. The Telegram group is a private group where I still have moms to this day who have done Mindful Mom Method last year and the previous year, and are still in there asking questions and getting reassurance from me and from the other mamas who are there. Let me know if you have any questions about Mindful Mom Method, but this is for a mom who is ready and knows she is worth the investment in time that will resonate and transpire to her child as well, and her children as well, if she has more than one, if you have more than one. Okay, so if you want to prioritize your emotional well-being, if you want to prioritize and create a home with strong values, with strong agreements, with strong rules, with strong communication, this is the space for you, and I don't want you to miss it, because I don't think I will be opening the doors to Mindful Mom Method again, to this option to work with me in close proximity, until 2024. So I want you, if you're thinking about it, to go right now and either send me a DM to get more information, or to go and click the link and get all of the information. The link is in my bio for Mindful Mom Method, so you can get all of the information. A few spots have been taken, and there is limited capacity. Okay? And I think that's it. I think that's it for today. If you're just joining, please go ahead and watch it recorded. I'm going to leave it in a couple of minutes. It's going to be there. Thank you to all the mamas who joined me. But again, if you're feeling depleted, if you're feeling all of the mom guilt, if you're feeling angry, resentful, if you're feeling just irritable instead of by anything, 1, go watch this again if you're just coming here. And 2, go check out Mindful Mom Method. And I will be honored to have you in there and to accompany you and be with you through this journey. Okay? So I'll see you in my next live. My next live is going to be this Friday. Be on the lookout in my stories for that information, okay? I'll see you again Friday to continue this conversation on another very important topic for us moms. Bye, you guys. Have a good rest of your week.